Welcome to Naturally Inspired Radio, where we expose what's broken in the healthcare system, connect you to real health solutions, and inspire you to take back control of your life. We want to help you feel empowered, informed, and free to live naturally without fear, confusion, or dependency. Download our latest book on real solutions for health at naturallyinspiredradio.com. Naturally Inspired Radio is a nationally syndicated show broadcast on over 100 radio stations, online platforms, video channels, and podcast feeds. Follow us on your favorite platform today, hit that like button, leave a comment, and engage in our special live stream chats, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com to learn more, register for our weekly giveaway, and explore past episodes. You can also connect directly with Tammy, follow her on all major social media platforms, and discover more about our featured guests and trusted radio partners. Are you looking for better health? Work with Tammy today and take the first step toward a healthier, more empowered lifestyle. Schedule your complimentary 30-minute lifestyle assessment to explore personalized guidance on nutrition, movement, toxin-free living, and natural beauty without pharma. Get started now and discover Tammy's preferred health products at naturallyinspiredstore.com or text Tammy directly 720-303-8868. Love the show and want to support the movement? Head over to naturallyinspiredradio.com and click on the support tab. There you'll find all the ways you can get involved. Join our Naturally Inspired community, become a preferred customer, attend one of our amazing live events, get your backstage pass for exclusive access, and connect to all things naturally inspired. Thank you for tuning in today. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
The information and other content provided on this radio show or in any linked materials is provided for informational purposes only, not intended and should not be construed as medical advice. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment.
Hey, welcome. It's time for Naturally Inspired Radio. I am so glad you're joining me today. It's a beautiful day here in northern Colorado. You know, it's sun's out. I was out in a tank top doing chores today, so the sun is out. It's still pretty beautiful here. Cross my fingers. Whenever I say that, you know what's going to happen. It'll probably snow tomorrow, just because I said that. But anyway, I'm enjoying the sunshine. I hope you're having a great week. I've got a great show planned for you today. I want to start off talking about, I know I hammer this topic home a lot, but not enough people are having this discussion, and I think it's so weird. I think it's so weird that, we're not having more discussions. It actually should be the topic of the day, like every day, because that's how serious it is. And I want to talk a little bit about, the race to artificial intelligence and whatnot. But listen, as if you needed more proof about this, our countries are being run by corporate gangsters. I'll say, we're lucky that we have Trump, even though I see a lot of the decisions being made are very business oriented, right? It's about getting ahead and getting more assets. And, I don't think Trump was the cult's choice to put in as the CEO of America. I don't think he was. I think that's why the whole apple cart was so upset there for so long, and there was such a hate campaign on hate Trump, because he wasn't their guy. He was not their guy. Okay, the cultist, globalist guy. That's clear. But it doesn't mean that he isn't very much focused on business and development and legacy for the Trump legacy. It doesn't mean that he's not. And that's kind of how our country's being run these days, right? It's like we have these leaders that are really just in the position. This is what it feels like to me. Okay. They're just in the position in order to advance their own businesses, their own investments, their own agenda. And let me tell you, like, corporate gangsters are part of a gang. Corporate gangsters are part of the gang. This is my side. Like, clearly Mark Carney over there in Canada, he's on the climate cult gang. He's on the WEF gang. He's on the globalist gang side. Trump's got his own gang. He's got his own gang. And I'm not entirely sure who is all in Trump's gang. But I'd say it's not so much on the climate cult side, but I think it's pretty much on the technology side and the advancement of artificial intelligence side. I think it is. And, I don't know who can blame him, I guess, because it's a coming. Right? This artificial intelligence, digital revolution, biological revolution, it's coming. And there ain't no stopping it now, because it's like it's already left the barn here, right? The horse has left the barn. So I was listening in on a couple of shows yesterday and today, and I want to bring you a few clips from them. This is from the Moonshots podcast with Peter Diamandis. This is where you find out all the juicy details, people. When you listen to these tech people talk, and they like to talk. They're on all kinds of different platforms. They're always speaking in universities and whatnot. So like, there's no shortage of talks from these types of tech people. And so I listen to them because I want to know what's coming. And man, sometimes I just find some nuggets in here where I'm like, wow, that's interesting. It's the culture that I guess I wasn't aware of. Because I'm not a billionaire. I don't travel in these globalist circles. I don't travel in this higher echelon of business to be able to understand that this is the goal. It's like a fairly new realization to me that our politicians are running for office and getting elected in order to advance an agenda for their corporate gang. And that's what they're doing. Maybe I'm a little late to the party. I think it's probably been going on a long time. I would say I think it's probably going on since Kennedy got shot. That, whoever they're putting in the positions of regulatory power, they're putting them there because they're there to advance their corporate gangster agenda. And I think you gotta be a part of a gang because there's no lone wolf here, with enough power to wield on their side to get what they want. So there's lots of negotiating going on, like, hey, I'll give you this and that, and, within the gangs. And even, I think, from gang to gang, there's negotiating going on. But I want to share with you this first clip, kind of introduces this idea. This is Peter Diamandis's Moonshots podcast. And of course, he's all in on artificial intelligence and the biological revolution and whatnot. So take a listen.
Into this area because the government is open for business now. But that's the structure. You go to the government, you get the loan, you build the next big thing. The next big thing, if it succeeds, you get the profit, you get the margin, and the government subsidizes it. So it's a golden era because a lot of people, when I'm lecturing on campus, all the AI people, all the computer science people, they know exactly what they want to do. But then all the econ majors and business majors, like, how do I get in this? How do I get in this? This is how you get in this. The flow of capital it's going to be $1.2 trillion a year by 2030, coming just into data center construction and power for it. There's nothing even close in the history of the world to that scale of money movement.
When I listen to these guys talk, it's almost like they have forgotten that, the government money, like this. So this is big business in America now. You just, you come up with some kind of product and then you pitch it to the government so the government can fund you. This is the quan of business now, right? You get government money. So he tells you this is the infrastructure, right? So he goes on in the podcast to explain that, tech guys know exactly what to do in higher education. Tech guys know exactly what to do, right? They develop a product and then they pitch it to the government so that they can get funded, and the government covers it, and then they get to keep all the profits as well. That's what happens in science as well. The government, the government just makes money on its own. No, the taxpayers fund the government, right? So that's your money. And so they apply for these grants. So it's like, woo, it's raining money here. All we got to do is go straight to the government and the government will fund us. And so in the podcast, he goes on to talk about tech guys. We know what to do. The tech guys in higher education, they know what to do. They just got to come up with something. They got to come up with some solution in terms of technology. They got to pitch it to the government and boom, they get funded. Now, the business guys, they're struggling a little bit. They haven't figured out how they can get a piece of the government money through this $1 trillion marketplace of the development of AI. I don't know about you, but I thought the free marketplace was when you came up with something that was worthy and then you sold it in the free marketplace, right? And if you funded it as best you could, and if you couldn't get it funded, then you had to bring in partners, like other real business people have to do. But no, these people, they've got it all figured out because they can just go for government funding. Government has to fund it. AI race, urgency. Oh, we've got to get it before China does. Really? I smell a scam here. You know what I smell? I smell a racket. Can you imagine all these little AI startups? I mean, just think of Doge. Think about all the grant money that was going out from Doge, that Doge discovered, right? Grants for, basket weaving in Tanzania for gay and lesbian children, right? I mean, this was the type of stuff that was going on. And I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I'm a little pissed off just thinking about this, Because we're out here doing the hard work, right? We're in the trenches. We're trying to build businesses. We're trying to make change. We're trying to use our lives for purpose. We're doing real jobs for real pay. And it would seem to me that these globalist type people, these, I have a name for them I won't say, but these tech people They figured out a little racket here, and maybe that's why they were just so upset when Elon was coming in with Doge, because a lot of this free money to, fund your ideas and whatnot was going away. Because after all, this is the infrastructure of this thing. Trillions of dollars. Got an idea? Go to the government. They'll fund it. They probably don't even understand it, but they'll fund it. Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back. This is Naturally Inspired Radio.
Did you know that a single collagen supplement could support your heart health, help protect against EMF exposure, and reduce inflammation all at the same time? Our preferred foundational collagen not only supports radiant skin and joint mobility, but also promotes heart health, reduces inflammation, strengthens hair and nails, provides added protection against the effects of EMF exposure, and so much more. Our favorite collagen is super absorbable and easy to take. Just 1 tablespoon in the morning and another in the evening for maximum benefits. Here's what our listeners have to say.
This collagen is so easy to take, I've noticed a huge difference in my hair and nails after just a few weeks.
Since I started using Tammy's preferred collagen, my joints feel more flexible and my skin looks smoother.
Try it today at naturallyinspiredradio.com/collagen. When you purchase from Naturally Inspired, you get access to our group health coaching call and so much more. Go to naturallyinspiredradio.com/collagen.
Did you know over 70% of Americans are on at least one prescription drug, with many side effects that cause more problems sometimes than they solve? I would say most of the time. So when you visit your doctor, chances are you'll leave with a prescription, right? When you work with a natural health practitioner, sometimes it can get pretty spendy. And thousands of dollars, you can be, put out thousands of dollars, and it's not sustainable. So that's why I created Naturally Inspired Health Community, where you get health coaching, you get guidance, and you get community support for free, just by purchasing the same top-tier EWG certified clean products that I use personally. I love these products, and that's why I recommend them. So when you get into the community, make a purchase of $50 or more, you get 15% discount off of every order for a lifetime. You get free and flat rate shipping. You get loyalty points that you can use towards free product. You get access to our weekly wellness workshop every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. You also get access to the private online health community. You get personal access to me as your health and wellness guide. So when you join our community, you're not just buying products. You're investing in your health. You're investing in knowledge, and you're securing freedom from the pharmaceutical trap. So join us today at naturallyinspiredstore.com and feel supported, informed, and truly inspired to live well naturally. Okay, yeah, I'm getting a little fired up here as I think about this, right? Because, the more and more people I talk to about AI and their concerns for AI, like even people who are not political, they don't pay attention to politics, they're not on any side. They're starting to express that, they're really unsure about the future. They may not even want to have grandkids. Other young people are thinking, gosh, I don't know if I want to bring a kid into this world. Like, that's a problem. That's a real problem. And we didn't ask for any of this stuff. A lot of us feel very uncomfortable about the future and where artificial intelligence is going and where the biological revolution is going. Where is this all going? So uncomfortable and unsure about the future that they're not really sure they want to bring any more life into this. That's dark. That's the first time in my life that I've heard people talk like this. I've never heard people talk like this before. And like I'm telling you, it's not, people who are really entrenched in politics and are, worried about the problems of the world on a regular basis and always have been. It's not those types of people, you guys. It's people who just live in their lives. They're cutting hair, they're working construction, they're, working in dental offices, and they just, they're just earning a living and living their lives. That's really concerning to me. And I think it's because people are on to it. They understand that things are being controlled, that, money has become the main focus, that it's all about, the agenda and capturing people's freedom and taking away from people, it's crazy. It's crazy that people are this concerned about it, and yet the conversation really still hasn't taken place. That we need to talk about what's going to change. And some people are like right down the rabbit hole with it, and they're loving it. And they think it's so exciting and all of that. And, okay, but, and you're entitled to your opinion and if that's what you like, but I just think, why are we not having the ethical conversation? And I have to say, because I think it's the corporate gangsters that have this plan that they are just, heading towards, whether we like it or not. Take a listen to this next clip. Again, this is from Moonshots with Peter Diamandis and his groups.
When Eric Schmidt was testifying in front of Congress, he said we need 92 gigawatts by 2030. Right? So this particular deal might put 10 of these 1.1 gigawatt data centers on the map, but they're not going to be coming online until into the early mid-2030s. So the question is, how do we build out an additional 90 gigawatts in the next 4 years? All right, where is that going to come from?
Yeah, I think the deal structure behind this is worth understanding too, because it generalizes to solar and to fusion and to everything else. So what's happening here is a company, Westinghouse, that got bought by Toshiba. So this is part of America deindustrializing very stupidly for decades. Toshiba buys Westinghouse. Westinghouse tries to build nuclear facilities. The government is so bureaucratic and so onerous that it goes bankrupt. So then in 2017, the private equity guys come in, Brookfield led, and say, okay, we have very smart business school majors here. We'll try and revive this thing. And the timing is 2017, right when the transformer comes out. So the timing turns out to be perfect. So now what's happening is the private equity firms and the econ majors from all these schools are going to the government and saying, give us 10, 20, $30 billion in loans, guaranteed loans, and we'll use that to build these facilities. And then if they're successful, we make a huge profit. And if they fail, we write off.
Okay, so did you catch that? Did you catch that? He's talking about a company called Westinghouse that went bankrupt because they sold to Toshiba. Then, that kind of went sideways as well because the government bureaucracy was so, deep that they couldn't get things done, until a private equity firm by the name of Brookfield took over. And so, yeah, man, like if you can't get the government to do what you want it to do, then just become the government. And of course, I'm talking about Mark Carney, because Mark Carney ran Brookfield just in, 2020. So in 2020, Mark Carney buys this turd, essentially, of a company, right? Because they're a private equity firm and they say, well, we'll take Westinghouse off your hands. We'll take it. Like, let us take it, right? Understanding that the bureaucracy was so deep that they're not going to be able to get the energy built that they need built. So what does he do? Well, he runs for prime minister. Now we don't have a government bureaucracy problem, do we? When we're running the government, Yeah, I suspect that's probably why a lot of people call him absent Carney, because he's not really running Canada, you guys. He's running Brookfield. And he's managing Canada. He's managing the bureaucracy of the Canadian government for the benefit of his private equity firm. And you guys, that's the model here. That's the model in our country. That's the model. And I know, everybody wants to think, not our model, it's not us. It's like, you know what? I'm not sure there's a way not to play this game. So, do I think Trump's playing this game? Absolutely. I don't think there's a way not to play it. Because people are going to play it, and if you tap out of the game, well, then you're just like us. We don't have any say over it, do we? We're just along for the ride. We're just basically observers. The only power that we have, really, truly, is noncompliance. And we have a great deal of power with noncompliance if we can get people to understand that this is what's happening. And that's a bit of a problem, as you well know, right? A lot of people think, oh, these guys are so great. We love them. We love them. We love them. And, I'm just calling it like I see it here. This is big business. This is corporate gangsters. Deals are being done. This is the marketplace. The marketplace is artificial intelligence. The marketplace is the digital revolution. The marketplace is the biological revolution. And basically, like, America cannot not participate, because then it's what? Overpowered by other countries? Because artificial intelligence is a complete game changer. Check out this next clip, again, from Moonshots.
Clarifying question to ask here. In our last pod, we talked about the fact the U.S. is building like 5,000 data centers, 10x more than anybody else. Is that inconsistent with the amount of energy available?
So we have
5,000.
No, it's today. It's the data centers we have today of all types, not just AI data centers. We're 5,000 more, cumulatively more than the rest of the world combined.
To me, this is one of the few things that's easy to predict. Everything is changing so quickly. But the chip fabs are exactly what they are. We're building them at a certain rate. Every chip is going to get used. The chips have a certain power consumption. That's very calculable. That you can assume that they're all going to get flat out sold out. But we can't make any more of them than 20 million.
I've told you, I think, a million times probably. I hate to sound like a broken record, but this whole climate cult stuff is all about energy. It's all about getting energy available, freeing up as much as possible, because there's scarcity in energy for the amount of energy they need to run the digital revolution, artificial intelligence, the biological revolution. It's all going to require so much energy. And they're hoping maybe by 2030, that they're going to have enough data centers. They're going to need water to cool those data centers. Water. Watch the water, because it's going to be a big thing. Because cooling these suckers is going to be a whole nother issue. Building them, they're going to be taking up a lot of land space, because they're going to need so many. And then other energy sources as well, like Brookfield knows, right? Brookfield knows they're going to squeeze any little bit of energy they can. Wind energy, solar energy, U energy. They're going to squeeze energy from you. Maybe take away your ability to move freely in 15-minute cities. This is the plan, to be able to kind of lock you in a space so you don't use too much energy. Because after all, we need it for the digital revolution. Don't worry. You can live in the cloud. You don't actually have to go anywhere. Stay tuned. This is Naturally Inspired Radio. Be right back.
Did you know 80% of beef consumed in the U.S. comes from 4 major corporations? much of it being imported or processed with additives. Want real beef from a real farm? Pumpkin Creek Ranch does things the right way. Local, grass-fed, dry-aged beef with no additives, no shortcuts, just honest quality.
Pumpkin Creek Ranch beef is the real deal. I love knowing exactly where my meat comes from. No additives, no nonsense, just honest quality beef.
Best beef I've ever had. You can taste the difference. Rich, tender, and packed with real flavor. Plus, supporting a local ranch makes it even better.
From pasture to plate, they raise their cattle with care, so you can get rich, natural flavor that only real ranching can provide. Stock your freezer with premium beef you can trust. Visit pumpkincreekranchco.com or call 970-658-0176.
I think what we have to do, really, I think this is a good exercise for everybody, because I feel like, I'm just trying to get my mind wrapped around how the world is going to, progress here. Trying to kind of get myself acclimated with it, right? Because digital ID is coming. The digital revolution, like I'm mentioning, is coming. Energy is going to be to shift. Currency is going to shift. Of course, health and how health is managed is going to shift. There's a lot of things that are going to be changing. And honestly, I did not have this on my bingo card. I don't know about you, but midlife on the bingo card wasn't navigate the digital revolution. Was it on yours? Because, I didn't have COVID on my bingo card either for midlife. Welcome to midlife. Not only are you dealing with midlife stuff, but you're also going to be dealing with the, digital revolution and the Great Reset. Huh? Who knew? We don't get to plan our golden years, that's for sure. But, it's, I just didn't have it. So what I do is I find myself trying to wrap my brain around it every day, because of course I want a productive life. I want grandchildren. I want that, man. And I'm not giving it up. I'm not giving it up. And I hope you won't either. But we're going to have to acclimate here and understand where this is going. Because these people have a different vision for the future than I think, say, maybe your average person does. And I don't think we would be where we are today if we didn't have the level of corruption in government and kind of the corporate revolving door situation into government politics and corporations that we have. There's a revolving door, a lot of high up CEOs in pharmaceutical companies. They just kind of roll into government and then roll back into pharma, roll into government, roll. It's like a revolving door, right? Same thing for a lot of industry. And that's where we're at. Top leaders of the country are now there doing the work for their corporate entity. Yeah, this just, they're telling you. It just, I don't know where you've been living if you can't put the pieces together here. And maybe you're all for it. Maybe you're like, yay, enslave me. I don't know. Maybe you're just so excited about the artificial intelligence stuff and the digital revolution that you don't see the drawbacks from it. I'm not really sure. I don't know how people don't see this at this point. Especially in Canada. Whew. That's moving fast. Land grabs. I heard today that they're actually going to start taxing the unrealized equity in Canadian homes. So if you were lucky and you bought a house low and you got a whole bunch of equity in your house, you're gonna start have to pay taxes on that unrealized equity. You didn't sell your house. I'm not talking about like capital gains or any kind of like profits here. I'm talking about air. They're going to tax you on air. Nothing. They're taxing you on unrealized equity. Like, talk about just like smash you into the ground and degrade you. Take your land, take any sort of prosperity that you can even imagine and squash it. It's so sad. And what's even sadder to me is that you have Canadians rooting it on because they're absolutely clueless. They have no idea. Oh, this is great. Trans. Immigration. Be welcoming. Be kind. Oh my gosh. Like, you can't see what's happening here. They're taking your guns. They're taking your land. They're taking your food. I mean, you got fake food. Like, everything's towards the climate cult. He's taking over your country for the benefit of his private equity firm. I don't know. I'm glad I don't live there. And my prayers go out to you. Trust me, it's very hurtful. But many people don't even understand what's happening. Maybe that's better for them. You know, maybe it's just better. They don't know. They can be blissfully ignorant, I guess. But we can't be sleeping on that over here in the United States of America either. We can't be sleeping on this little paradigm, this little racket that's going on, right? You just move in and, you know, little lobby money here and you make some friendships here and then boop, you get yourself into government and then boop, you get yourself back into private sector and, you know, you just keep pushing the ball forward up the field. Just keep, I mean, it's like Peter Thiel's now right at the helm there, right? Even Elon Musk has been like right at the helm there. And I just don't hear the people's voice much. I hear very little about ethics and where this is going. Oh, don't worry about it. We're going to protect you. That's about all I hear. I don't even know what I'm, you know, let's have a conversation. Like, what are we even protecting ourselves from? What you got? What you got, right? What you got in mind? Because you're not real transparent with all of that. And that's a little disturbing to me. And it should be to you as well. Let's listen to this next clip. More gems from the Moonshots podcast.
Drone show in the sky. If you were listening, you heard some music. But here's one interesting concepts. Imagine being able to have 16,000 drones up in the sky. You can actually create a giant TV screen and watch a television program or a movie across an entire city. What's the significance of this for you, Dave?
Oh, big time. I think that people visualize robots in humanoid form, you know, just because that's what's in the movies, constructing buildings and cleaning your yard and whatever. But I think the swarm version of it is actually just as big a deal, if not bigger. And it's been very hard for the Hollywood studios to create swarm visual effects, so they don't use them much in sci-fi, and therefore people don't really think about them. But and then when you look at a flock of birds or a bunch of bees, they're actually not coordinated. You know, they're a little coordinated, but they're not really coordinated. The AI version of it, as you saw in that video, is perfectly down to the millimeter coordinated. Mm-hmm. And it's a very effective way to do things like construction, yard work, you know, cleaning your gutters, whatever, because, you know, you can put 50 drones in if you need to pick up something heavy. You can put 2 in if it's light. So it's very, very flexible. So I think that, you know, it's going to be a big, big part of taking AI and making it affect the physical world much more than people are currently predicting. Because if you look at our podcast, we must have had 50 videos on different humanoids dancing and fighting and whatever. But I really feel like the drone part of it, or the interactive thousands of drone part of it, is way underappreciated as a real world thing to do right now.
Did he really say what I thought? I mean, it just kind of blows my mind here. So he's talking about the coordination of these swarm drones. So it's like thousands of drones that operate together so they could build things and, create a huge screen over the entire planet. I mean, who doesn't want more screens? But the part that really just makes me understand that these people really don't get it is that little thing he said there about, bees and birds, flocks of them, they're not very precise. No, our AIs are much more precise. So what you're telling me there is that God's design, it's flawed. We can do it better with drone swarms. This is a process of thinking that I can't relate to, I cannot relate to it. The arrogance, the ignorance is stunning to me. It's actually stunning to me that someone could be so ignorant, making a statement like that. Bees, have you studied the complexity of bees? Do you understand the invisible communication that these creatures have and do and practice in order to complete their function in the whole ecosystem? Like, we don't live without bees. Like birds, oh yeah, birds. What do birds know? Yeah, like, dude, your swarm junk, flying junk in the air, whatever it is. Like, I understand that fascinates you, but you're missing the thread on life here. You're missing the thread. And it's not surprising to me that these people are so compartmentalized. Take a listen to this last little gem here. This is Eric Schmidt.
The rich get richer and the poor do the best they can. They'll have to, the fact of the matter is, this is a rich country's game, right? Huge capital, lots of technically strong people, strong government support, right? There are two examples. There are lots of other countries that have all sorts of problems. They don't have those resources. They'll have to find a partner. They'll have to join with somebody else, something like that.
And the poor do the best they can. It's interesting, though, because these guys, they come off like they've really done something just so fantastic on their own. They're so brilliant, so brilliant. They got it all figured out. This is technology. Look at us. But you know what's interesting is, like, that's our money. That's taxpayer money. You're getting money from your daddy. You're getting money from the government. You're being funded by the government. I don't know. That don't impress me. I actually know how hard it is to build a business. I know the risks that you have to take. They're scary. You got to have a big vision, and you got to really be connected to it. But I'll tell you, if I had government, I mean, what would you do if things that you had ideas on, the government funded it for you? Don't worry. The poor, well, we'll do the best we can. Wah. These people disgust me. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with your naturally inspired moment.
Did you know that nearly 70% of Americans struggle with their health every single day? That's why we are reaching out to health professionals and to anyone who simply has a heart for helping people. Right now, there's an opportunity to make a real difference in people's lives while building a flexible income stream for yourself. Whether you're already working in health, wellness, or just passionate about seeing people thrive, we want to connect with you and introduce you to our system. Together, we can provide real solutions that empower people to take control of their health and create lasting impact. If you've been looking for a way to combine purpose with income, this is it. Visit simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448 That's simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. We look forward to working with you.
Sam from Georgia. She said this: Tammy helped me understand how my digestion and stress were connected. Within a month, my bloating was gone, my mood lifted, and I feel so much lighter inside and out. Her weekly workshops keep me motivated and inspired. So did you know that you could work with me and you can join the Naturally Inspired community? You can try it today. Get a 90-day plan. You get priority access to my text line. You get VIP access to the weekly wellness workshops. You can schedule your free health and lifestyle assessment at naturallyinspiredstore.com. Just head on over there and click the tab for assessment. Get yourself on my calendar. Wait, what? I don't get it. What? You don't understand how it all works? Psh, just text me. 720-303-8868. 720-303-8868. I know it's kind of a new way to do things, but I'm happy to explain it to you. And once I think people understand it, they're like, oh, I'm in. Because you're buying a lot of this stuff anyway. You might as well get the support and access to a community and new information each week for free, Plus, you get my health text line and service directly from me. It's not a bot. So text me, 720-303-8868, or just go to naturallyinspiredstore.com. Book yourself an assessment and get yourself started. Okay, for today. So, I'm talking about this dark stuff. Listen, we got to talk about it. We got to talk about it because I have all the faith that God is on the throne. God is on the throne. And uncertainty, our brains don't like uncertainty. It's difficult to deal with. But you gotta trust that God is on the throne and that we're going to all end up where we're supposed to be. And it's God's plan. That's the way you deal with this type of stuff coming on. And, it gives you more gratitude for day to day as well. I find really enjoy the day. Enjoy the moments, especially as we come into the holiday season. Because things are changing fast. And for today's Naturally Inspired moment, this is why I want to talk about 5 strategies to protect your peace in a loud world. We live in a culture that constantly demands your attention. The notifications, screens, emails. You're working all the time now because everybody can get a hold of you at any given moment, right? They can send you an email. Hey, what about this? They can send you a text. Hey, what about that? And you feel like you have to respond. And so a lot of us are on all the time. And there's a lot of expectation for us to respond because we're reachable. But peace isn't found by waiting for life to quiet down in this type of environment, because it won't. It's just not going to. So peace is created by choosing what deserves access to your mind, what deserves access to your emotions, and what has access to your energy. So 5 strategies to protect your peace without disconnecting from real life. Number 1, create boundaries without apology. So your time, your emotional bandwidth, and your mental space are valuable. So saying no is not a rejection, it's protection. Peace grows when you stop over-explaining and start honoring your limits. Do you do this? I used to do this. If I had to say no, I felt like, well, I can't because A, B, C, D, D, or like just even today, I had to email somebody and ask them for something, that I was supposed to get, but they haven't gotten it to me yet. And so, I hate bothering people. And so I was like, oh, should I just forget about it? Like, is it and then I'm like, you know what? I have to ask. right? I have to ask. So it's like how you ask, and you got to protect your peace, because if I didn't reach out to ask, guess what? I keep thinking about it. I keep thinking about it. It's taking up mental space in my mind. So address it, right? Saying no is not rejection, it's protection. But I wanted to explain why I was reaching out in my email as I was writing it. I'm like, I'm reaching out because, this or that. And then I thought, you know what? I don't need to explain. I don't need to explain. This is what was promised. I have obligations as well. Like I need this. So peace grows when you stop over explaining and just honor your limits. Honor yourself. You don't need to explain it to everybody. Number 2, limit what you consume. So not everything that enters your mind deserves to stay there. I love this one. Reduce negative media, reduce fear-based conversations, reduce drama, guard your input. You don't have to give everybody your input. Yeah, you don't. You can sit there and listen to a conversation and just choose not to engage. Because not everybody is going to even listen to your input. You know what I'm saying? I call those people ask-holes. Did you hear me clearly? Ask-hole. They like to ask your opinion, but they don't really listen. You know what I mean? They just like asking. So like, if you know this about somebody, then just stop. Just stop. It's not worth your energy. So guard your input and also guard your output. Protect your mood and your thoughts. Your choices will shift when you do that. 3, practice stillness every day. Even 5 minutes of quiet. I've got to get back to this. This one gets away from me all the time. Even 5 minutes of quiet can reset your nervous system. Sit, breathe, pray. Simply notice what's around you with no inputs, right? Stillness isn't wasted time. You need it. It's the foundation of clarity. Like I was saying, I've been saying, talking about this over the last week, like there's not enough space anymore because of the portal, right? The phone, and how accessible we are through technology. There's no space to just like sit and be. So you got to fight for your space, because space equals peace. And when there's no space, there's no peace. So choose your circle intentionally, because peace is also contagious, and so is chaos, and so is drama, right? Spend more time with people who inspire you, who challenge you, who uplift you, that they don't drain you, right? They don't confuse you. They don't muddle up your life. Your environment influences your identity and how you see yourself. Number 5, release what you can't control. Like this stuff we've been talking about so far, we have no control over this stuff. The only thing we have control over is our choices. So that's a powerful thing, though. A lot of people tend to feel like they don't have any choices. And there's always a choice. We may not like the outcomes of those choices, but just exercising your choice will bring you more self-respect. You will feel more empowerment, as if, even if you don't like what the outcomes are, of the choices, just being able to make the choice yourself. It changes the dynamic. So a lot of people, during COVID, for example, they didn't like the choice they had. They had to take it. They had to take the injection, or they were going to lose their job, or they didn't take the injection and they lost their job, right? Those were the choices, but it was still a choice. It was still a choice. And I know that's kind of hard to hear for some people, but it was. neither one of those outcomes was what we wanted. But exercising your choice, I guarantee you, the people who exercised their choice and made the decision, even though they didn't like the outcome, they still held on to some self-respect because it was their choice. And that goes a long way, further than you might think, holding on to your self-respect. Release what you can't control. You got to surrender the things that aren't yours to carry. So peace comes when you focus on what you can influence and you let go of what you can't. So today, choose one thing that interrupts your peace. Maybe a boundary you need to set. Maybe it's a habit that you need to adjust or a distraction you need to release. Write it down. There's power. We were talking about this, I think, last week on the weekly wellness workshop, that there's power in putting a pen in your hand and writing on paper. More will come out of you with that action than you just ruminating on your thoughts and trying to keep track of your thoughts inside your head, or even typing it is different than writing it. So take the time to write it down and then take one small action towards protecting your peace. So what is it that you need to change? Is it a boundary that you need to move for more peace? Is it a habit that you need to adjust? A distraction that you need to release? I think we can all agree we're probably spending way too much time down the portal. And that's definitely robbing us of our peace. It automatically puts us into a space of the future or the past when we're online. We're watching, things that inspire thoughts of the future that may trigger thoughts of worry or fear, or we're watching things that have already happened that may make us feel like helpless because we can't do anything about it because it's already happened, or outrages us, right? So it's always living in the future or living in the past. It's not present moment. And it's certainly not stillness. And I think we could all use a lot more stillness in our lives just to create that space again for creativity, for peace, for connection, for, searching out what is the next right thing. We tend to not make those mindful decisions, what is the next right thing, because we're reacting to all the different things that are coming in. Right? We're looking at things and we're reacting, instead of carving out peace, carving out space so that we can think things through properly and we can respond in the way that we want to. It's weird, I think, because in my generation, this just happened by default. Space happened by default, right? When we were kids, there was space, Now you gotta create space. There's definitely a price tag on not creating space for peace, and we pay with it with our health. Pay for it with our health. Stay tuned, everybody. We're about to go into hour 2. This is Naturally Inspired Radio. I'm Tammy Cuthbert Garcia. Be right back.
Are you ready to stay informed and inspired 24/7? Tune in to Naturally Inspired Radio anytime, anywhere. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com, or for the best mobile experience, download the Simple Radio app. Search for Naturally Inspired Radio, save it to your favorites, and click on the graphic to listen instantly. Catch live broadcasts, revisit past shows, dive into long-form podcast conversations, and discover rare, censored presentations by leading health experts. Plus, explore documentaries uncovering the hidden truths of occult and esoteric history. Stay connected, stay inspired. Naturally Inspired Radio is always at your fingertips. Tune in now. For health questions or comments, text Tammy directly at 720-303-8868. NaturallyInspiredRadio.com.
Welcome to Naturally Inspired Radio, where we expose what's broken in the healthcare system, connect you to real health solutions, and inspire you to take back control of your life. We want to help you feel empowered, informed, and free to live naturally without fear, confusion, or dependency. Download our latest book on real solutions for health at naturallyinspiredradio.com. Naturally Inspired Radio is a nationally syndicated show broadcast on over 100 radio stations, online platforms, video channels, and podcast feeds. Follow us on your favorite platform today, hit that like button, leave a comment, and engage in our special live stream chats, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com to learn more, register for our weekly giveaway, and explore past episodes. You can also connect directly with Tammy, follow her on all major social media platforms, and discover more about our featured guests and trusted radio partners. Are you looking for better health? Work with Tammy today and take the first step toward a healthier, more empowered lifestyle. Schedule your complimentary 30-minute lifestyle assessment to explore personalized guidance on nutrition, movement, toxin-free living, and natural beauty without pharma. Get started now and discover Tammy's preferred health products at naturallyinspiredstore.com or text Tammy directly 720-303-8868. Love the show and want to support the movement? Head over to naturallyinspiredradio.com and click on the support tab. There you'll find all the ways you can get involved. Join our Naturally Inspired community, become a preferred customer, attend one of our amazing live events, get your backstage pass for exclusive access, and connect to all things naturally inspired. Thank you for tuning in today. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
The information and other content provided on this radio show or in any linked materials is provided for informational purposes only, not intended and should not be construed as medical advice. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment.
Welcome back. This is hour 2 of Naturally Inspired Radio. If you're just joining us, in the first hour, we've been talking a lot about just how these corporate gangsters, these billionaires in tech, in technology that are pushing forward the biological revolution, the digital revolution. Oh yeah, how they're being funded by the government and how this is just the infrastructure now of how they do business. And, you know, the tech guys got this figured out because they just come up with an idea and then they go ask the government for some money. Where the business guys, they haven't quite figured out yet how to get their hands into government money just quite as much as the tech bros have, because the tech bros, you know, they're basically running the country and making all the decisions about, you know, how we're going to program open AI and, you know, what will be the truth, I guess. What will be the standard of all-encompassing knowledge? Just being, made up by the tech bros. Yep. Most of which who just happen to be, gay and, don't really believe in the nuclear family and don't really believe in God, a lot of them. So, yeah, it's kind of weird. To say the least. These people are the ones making the decisions that are going to be the new answerer of all questions, right? The authority on the standard of what is truth. For people that claim they want diversity and they want, all this equity and whatnot, like it seem to have a monopoly because they all kind of have the same generalized way of thinking. And it's kind of strange. Anyway, so we've been talking about that. Particularly interesting that Brookfield, which is Mark Carney's private equity firm, that they lined this up in a way where Mark Carney was, working the Brookfield angle from the private equity firm in 2020. And, they bought Westinghouse, and then that became so, such a bureaucracy. They couldn't get anything done because the government was just blocking them at every. So then he just really became the government. And that's how that went. So anyway, we're talking about all that stuff and more. I just want to finish up on a couple things because I did ask earlier today. I did sit down and type some questions into ChatGPT because I wanted to know, what does ChatGPT think about the digital revolution stuff? What are the problems with it? So I asked it to be honest and tell me the foreseeable problems with the digital revolution. And this is what it said. Number one, loss of privacy and increased surveillance. When governments help fund and develop AI, they often gain access to the data streams that power it. AI enables facial recognition, predictive policing. This is from ChatGPT. Digital identity tracking, internet behavior profiling. The danger isn't just surveillance, it's silent surveillance that becomes normalized. That's already happening. People don't, and that's why I say the horse has already left the barn, all this stuff is already happening. People don't notice rights disappearing when it happens through convenience. What else did chat say? It said centralization of power is a real concern. AI has the potential to centralize control in ways never before possible, not because of malice. No, of course not. But because the system becomes too complex for the average person to challenge. Government-funded AI can consolidate economic decisions, healthcare prioritization, security policy, information flow. Power moves upward, and once centralized, it rarely decentralizes ever again. Number three, algorithmic bias becomes policy. If flawed algorithms enter government systems, those biases will get scaled nationally. Certain demographics flagged as high risks. These are examples that already exist. Loan denials based on zip codes, medical priority based on demographic algorithms, police surveillance concentrated in certain neighborhoods. When bias becomes codified in software, it becomes harder to identify and harder to undo. Reduced human decision-making. As governments rely more on AI, human authority becomes secondary. Eventually, the answer to why was this decision made may become the system calculated it. Once systems replace judgment, accountability gets very blurry, which is what they want and what they already do. We've had legal warfare, right? Lawfare in this country so bad now that the way I didn't do it, they did it, he did it, she did it. That's the way our government works. The FDA doesn't give you approval on any product. What they'll do is they'll not say anything. No news is good news, right? Remember Gary Gnu? No news is good news. And that's the way they operate, because any kind of admission that, we approve this, well, then sets them up for liability. So this is their dream here. We didn't calculate the decision. We didn't tell you to take the COVID vaccine. The system did. It calculated it. You can't argue with the system, people. The system's always right. Risk of digital authoritarianism. AI can be used to control speech. Oh, no, really? You don't say. Oh, Jason and I were just talking about this the other day. So during COVID, and I have the screenshots, I've got the receipts. Don't make me go Candace Owens on you. But during COVID, my social media was definitely tagged. And on Instagram, when I still had my original Instagram account, I played a song to a video that I had filmed just, in the back of the truck on the farm here in the summertime, sun going down. It was pretty. And I put a song to it. It was a Fleetwood Mac song. And the line was, "You want your freedom." And you know how you can put the words on the screen? The word freedom was gone. In the lyrics, the word freedom was gone. Yeah. So algorithms can control whatever words. And I clearly was marked during that time period. And that is what happened to me. It was very weird. So controlled speech, assign social reputation scores. Mine's done. Over. Automate punishment, limit service based on behavior. We already see early forms in China's social credit system, but Western governments are experimenting with softer versions right now. That's from chat, you guys. Carbon tracking, digital ID, pandemic policy enforcement. The line between security and control blurs. Governments adjust AI investment through national security, counterterrorism, cyber defense, public health monitoring. But historically, emergency measures tend to outlive the emergencies that justified them. Again, these are not my answers. These are ChatGPT's answers. Dependency on technology weakens critical thinking. When AI makes predictions, decisions, and recommendations, society risks becoming passive, second-guessing themselves, less questioning, less skepticism, less autonomy, less responsibility. Convenience can quietly replace freedom because it feels easier. The public isn't part of decision-making. The bottom line, government-funded AI isn't inherently evil, but it increases the potential for unprecedented control, especially if transparency, accountability, and public oversight aren't prioritized. AI can serve humanity or it can manage it. And right now, the direction depends less on the technology and on more who commands it. So that is what ChatGPT says about AI. And now you know why I talk about it every single day, because I'm very concerned. Very concerned. Not worried. God is on the throne. But I feel like we're better equipped to deal if we understand what we truly are facing and how the world really works. It just makes a whole lot more sense when you understand. Okay, let's transition into our moment of culture. Because remember, a couple of weeks ago, we had some crazy, irrational paid influencers and other people for years now that have been trying to convince you that you do not have culture, that you as an American do not have any culture. Lies, 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 lies. Here's why. Here's your American moment for the day. America has influenced global style in a very big way, not by following traditions like Europeans did, but by creating fashion that reflected freedom, rebellion, practicality, and culture. Here are some of the major fashion styles and items that originated in the United States, people. Blue jeans. Everybody wears blue jeans, right? Everybody. That is yours to claim. This is your culture. blue jeans, because Levi Strauss and Jacob Davis invented them in 1873. And it's probably the most iconic American contribution. Originally created as durable work pants for miners, jeans became a symbol of rebellion in the 1950s, of course, through James Dean and Marlon Brando, and a youth culture staple in the 60s and 70s, and a global fashion essential from the 80s onward. Jeans are now worn worldwide across every economic class. America exported a feeling with them. And that feeling was your culture. Freedom, youth, individuality, rebellion, just straight up cool. Also, the t-shirt came from America. The t-shirt wasn't originally considered clothing. It was considered underwear. And military uniforms made them common, but America made them cool. There's a lot more, actually. All this is your culture to claim if you are brave enough to claim it. Because if you don't, other people will. We'll be right back. This is Naturally Inspired Radio.
Did you know that a single collagen supplement could support your heart health, help protect against EMF exposure, and reduce inflammation all at the same time? Our preferred foundational collagen not only supports radiant skin and joint mobility, but also promotes heart health, reduces inflammation, strengthens hair and nails, provides added protection against the effects of EMF exposure, and so much more. Our favorite collagen is super absorbable and easy to take. Just 1 tablespoon in the morning and another in the evening for maximum benefits. Here's what our listeners have to say.
This collagen is so easy to take, I've noticed a huge difference in my hair and nails after just a few weeks.
Since I started using Tammy's preferred collagen, my joints feel more flexible and my skin looks smoother.
Try it today at naturalinspiredradio.com/collagen. When you purchase from Naturally Inspired, you get access to our group health coaching call and so much more. Go to naturalinspiredradio.com/collagen.
I'll tell you what, I love my collagen. Do not take away my collagen. Let me tell you, I'm going to be grumpy if that ever happens. It has done so much for me. It improved my mobility when it came to my neck, my hips. My back is more mobile. It's improved my skin. It's improved my hair. It's improved my nails. So much benefit. You know, stretch marks even disappearing. Cellulite improved. Dare I tell you? I just don't want to go without it. It's low molecular weight. It is chicken sternate, meaning it comes from the sternum of the chicken. It has hyaluronic acid in it as well. And it's just a fantastic product. It's great for joint pain. It's great for inflammation, gut health. Mobility is your independence. And you lose collagen 1% a year from your 20s on, and that accelerates as we get into perimenopause and menopause, and men get into their 40s and 50s. It accelerates. And it isn't just aging that you can't move as good as you used to. It's lack of collagen. So get yours today at naturalinspiredstore.com. Of course, that gets you into the Naturally Inspired community, and we'd be so happy to welcome you here. All right. I want to just say, I got to remind you what culture is, okay? Culture is the shared pattern of beliefs, values, behaviors, customs, language, art, and social norms that define a group of people. It's essentially how we do things around here. That's what culture is. And blue jeans and t-shirts, that's your culture. I was looking at some videos today, and I'm noticing, the other people clearly have other cultures, and we welcome culture here, but we're not letting go of our culture. So like if you want to wear burqas and you want to cover yourself from head to toe, then that's your prerogative. But that's not how we do things around here. You get what I'm saying? No, we wear blue jeans and t-shirts around here. That's what we do. And here's some other things as well that we've invented, if you will. They become iconic American culture. The biker jacket. It was first created by Schott, New York City. The leather motorcycle jacket became a symbol, of course, of rebellion, rock and roll, counterculture. It's iconic and it's super American. Also, even like preppy style, it originated in America. So think Ralph Lauren, right? Like, you know, the polos and the cable knit sweaters and loafers and chinos and things like that. That's all American. Of course, Western wear is totally American as well. Cowboy boots, Western shirts, fringe jackets, cowboy hats. Different than like the Spanish influence of rodeo. You know, it's different. America made their own style. It was different from the vaquero, from the Spanish influence. Different hat, different shirts. We made it our own, which is kind of what we do around here. Sportswear and athletic wear also, that came from America as well. So America turned athletic clothing into everyday wear, right? So that's a little bit about fashion and how it's permeated across the world. But that is your American culture. In other places, they choose to wear different things and go about things in a different way. And that's the way they do things around there. But this is the way we do things around here. Jeans, t-shirts, motorcycle jackets, Western wear, chinos. That's the American way. Claim your culture, because if we don't, other people will. All right, let's get to some news stories because I've got a lot to cover here still. First up, I want to share with you a little story from Joe Rogan. Mary Bowden, Dr. Mary Talley Bowden, was on Rogan a while back, and I missed this clip, but it's going around right now, so I wanted to share it with you. This is actually Joe Rogan and Theo Vaughn talking about Dr. Bowden's visit to the Rogan podcast. Here it is.
Private corporations. That's what's nuts. You know, the private companies own hospitals. They're private, you know. And
so that's probably why they can do it too.
That they're there for your best interest. Yeah. What they're there is to make the most money possible, and one of the ways they do that is they're incentivized to give you certain medications financially incentivized to give you certain pharmaceutical products, and they make more money if they do that. I had Mary Talley Bowden on the podcast. She's a respiratory physician, and she, doctor, whatever it is, she was saying that if she vaccinated all of her patients, she has a very small practice, if she vaccinated all of her patients for COVID, she'd have made $1.5 million. Wow. Like, that's motivation. Like, that's not...
For sure.
Someone's not going to... They're not going to give you objective advice unless they're a really good person like she is. They're not going to give you objective advice. What they're going to say is, "Hey, they say you should take it. I say you should take it too because I want to go golfing." Yeah.
That type of behavior, incentivizing medical interventions, is what created the just the craziness of COVID. Because the government got involved and they started, giving out extra money for treating COVID, right? Hospitals developed protocols based on profits, not what actually worked and what was working in like triage situations, right? So if you use remdesivir and you vent somebody, you get 30 grand. If you do this, if you do that, if they go intensive care, if they do this, if you give this test, blah, 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 blah. It was money, 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 money. If you followed the protocol. Now, if you stepped outside of the protocol, well, then you got yourself a problem. Because the people working in these hospitals are working under a corporation. They're working under a hospital system. That's why it was so rare to find somebody like Dr. Bowden. She worked outside the system. She had her own separate clinic, right? Which is, I think only 13% now of physicians in America are actually freestanding, running their own business. All the rest of it has been captured by the corporate gangsters. So they're run by corporations. They're run by hospital systems. And these hospital systems, well, they have protocols because they kind of have to, because that whole liability lawfare thing I just explained. So they have a protocol, man. You're going to follow that protocol because we ain't getting sued. You follow that. And also we're getting subsidized as well. So we want to make sure we pick up every single penny the government has given us for subsidies. And if you veer off at all, that's it. You're gone. And that's what they saw. That's what happened to Mary Bowden. So she lost her hospital privileges because she wouldn't follow the hospital system protocol. So she started treating people in her clinic because that was the only place where she could treat them, because that's where she was free to practice the medical arts, which is what they're supposed to be. You practice medicine because it's medical arts. You need the art in there because not a single one of us is like the other. So we all require kind of a little bit of this, a little bit of that, maybe a tweak here, a tweak there. I mean, there are some rules, the foundation of health for sure. But you got to be able to pivot, when the body signals. And that was probably the most maddening thing. People were clearly doing worse on the vent. Nobody did anything about it. This is what I'm talking about. The weirdness of our world is this. Which is one of the things that's the weirdness about the world today, is that it doesn't seem to matter what is happening in reality. People have lost the ability to critically think. So the protocol says this is what I got to do. The protocol, this is what what are we doing here? You're living in reality here. You can see the circumstances right in front of your face. Respond appropriately. No, but the protocol says. People died because of that. I'm supposed to do this. After the fact, now the science says that, yeah, indeed, the ventilators were killing people. And the remdesivir, that wasn't so hot either. But this is what you get. This is what you get when you have a corporate gangster mafia. There is no common sense to it. Because you got to go through all the little, I can't, I'm going to lose my job if I do that. I can't do that, right? Insanity. Okay? Can we just get back to a little common sense? I think we're capable. I think, the older generation maybe can coach the younger ones like, hey, man, make a choice. Make a choice. Take a risk today. Choose it yourself. Why not? Live wild. Make your own choice. No, don't listen to anybody else. Don't Google it. Don't chat GPT it. What do they call it? Just raw dog it. Just raw dog life. That's what we used to do every single day. And we're still here. It's going to be okay. Bobby Kennedy had a moment, which was pretty interesting. I know we're going to go to break here in a minute. I won't go to clip, but I do want to set it up. And then when we come back, I'll play it for you. So Bobby Kennedy's joined up with TPUSA, and he's doing some university talks. And this was just a stellar moment I wanted to share with you, because for the people in the back, Bobby Kennedy explains to some students that there actually has not ever been a study on vaccines to see if it causes autism. I know you've been told. Isn't it just fascinating how much we operate off of assumed knowledge? Assumed knowledge is a real problem when you find out the people shoveling the assumed knowledge out are liars. And that they have, a bigger incentive to make products, to patent products, to bring more products to market. And that's really the goal, because that's how they're getting paid and that's how the system works. When you figure that out, you just start to realize how incredibly dangerous assumed knowledge is. Assumed knowledge, like assuming that vaccines are safe, assuming that this is the medical model has your best interest in mind, that it is all about your recovery and your healing. Well, it's not, though, because of the corporate interest, the corporate protocol, check every box, do everything. Like, it's gotten so crazy. It's like that episode of The Office. Did you ever see that episode of The Office where Michael and Dwight they're driving somewhere, and Michael has gotten a GPS system, and the GPS system tells Michael, turn right. And it's clearly a lake, but Michael turns into it. He turns into it because he's listening to the GPS, and he's got more trust in the computer than he does himself. And that's what I feel like is happening in the world. People are overriding their own brains and giving agency over to somebody else. And it turns out that's what chat described too, right? When it's talking about the dangers of AI and the dangers of technology, that it isn't just, the centralization of power and whatnot, but the loss of critical thinking, right? The loss of critical thinking and dependency on technology, how much that weakens us. And do we really want to be weak? Do we really want to be weak when we're going through this great transition that we're going through? Stay tuned, everybody. Take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Did you know 80% of beef consumed in the U.S. comes from 4 major corporations, much of it being imported or processed with additives? Want real beef from a real farm? Pumpkin Creek Ranch does things the right way. Local, grass-fed, dry-aged beef with no additives, no shortcuts, just honest quality.
Pumpkin Creek Ranch beef is the real deal. I love knowing exactly where my meat comes from. No additives, no nonsense, just honest quality beef.
Best beef I've ever had. You can taste the difference. Rich, tender, and packed with real flavor. Plus, supporting a local ranch makes it even better.
From pasture to plate, they raise their cattle with care, so you can get rich, natural flavor that only real ranching can provide. Stock your freezer with premium beef you can trust. Visit pumpkincreekranchco.com or call 970-658-0176.
Welcome back. Is it just me, or do you feel this way too? I hope, I know some of you have reached out on my text line and you express this all the time. And I talk to so many of you all the time as well. I know that you're feeling the same way. What do we do to kind of pull it back? Is we move forward with confidence and we model what we want to see more of, right? Make those decisions, You're good at it by now. I know you are. But let's go to the Bobby Kennedy video here, because I think he does a great job explaining the whole thing about studies and vaccines, autism, the whole nine. Here it is.
You say that autism has, in fact, the potential for vaccines to cause autism has been studied. In fact, only one vaccine has ever been studied, the MMR vaccine. The 20 doses of the 7 vaccines that are given during the first year of life, the DTP, the Hib, the hepatitis B, the pneumococcal vaccines, and the polio vaccines, have never been studied. And in fact, Congress, when it passed the 1986 Vaccine Act, said you've got to study the DTP vaccine. He directed the HHS secretary to study the DTP vaccine to see whether or not it's caused autism. That study, so that was 86. It's now 25. So that's 40 years ago. 40 years ago. And those studies have never been done. The only studies that were done were MMR studies, and they were all epidemiological studies, which is not, you can't prove causation with an epidemiological study anyway. And in 2017, the Institute of Medicine looked at all of the MMR studies, and they threw out all but 4 of them. And the 4 that were left were all epidemiological studies, and none of them did what you would want to do if you actually wanted the answer, which is to compare health outcomes in a vaccinated group against health outcomes in an unvaccinated group. That's what we need to do, and those studies we're doing now, they have never been done. The people who told you that have been lying to you.
Yeah, these kids. So the first part of that clip, it was really long, but the kid in the video there, he asked this question like, you associate yourself, or you used to associate yourself with Children's Health Defense, and they were anti-vax, and there's tons of studies. He says there's tons of studies that have proven over and over again that vaccines don't cause autism. Assumed knowledge. You see where that gets us? Assumed knowledge. Now, listen, Bobby Kennedy has fought these battles in litigation. He has fought these battles and subpoenaed for the records of these studies that they so-called claim that are done. They don't exist. They don't exist. And don't take my word for it. Look it up. He filed multiple times. Aaron Siri, his colleague, also filed multiple times. Show us the studies. Oh, we don't have them. In a litigation hearing, Fauci showed up. Oh, we've got them over here. Oh, actually, they're not here. We must not have brought them today. We'll get them to you. They had to subpoena him. And finally, they drug it out as long as they could. And then they said, yeah, we don't have the studies. You've been lied to for such a long time. A lie that just keeps getting told and told and told and told, right? That has become assumed knowledge. And the other thing is, like, nobody ever studies the compounding effects of multiple vaccines. They just kept adding them to the schedule without studying the impact of like all of this, preservative and whatever else they're putting in a lot of the vaccines, the adjuvants and all of it, right? That was never studied. And here we are now with an epidemic of disease, and our kids have never been sicker. And even so many people, 76% are with chronic disease. Like, we have to look at everything. You can't just say anymore, oh, those studies have been done. Everything's on the table. Everything's on the table for scrutiny. You lied. You're liars. You've been caught. We understand how it works. This is corporate gangsterism. And we're not sacrificing our kids for this. We're not. Another thing going on, which is incredibly crazy, check out this headline, because there's been a human, I get the chills when I think about this. First 3D, and this was back in August, first 3D images of human embryo implantation revealed new details of the process, analyzing embryo movements in uterus-like. Did you catch that? Uterus-like environments. Who needs a woman? Who needs a woman? What is a woman anymore? We have no idea. So we're going to create our own uterus-like environments. This is just research at this point, because it could offer clues to improving the success rate of another, intervention, medical intervention in vitro fertilization. I'm just, I'm not anti, I get everybody wants to have a baby, but can we ask the question why we have so much infertility? Instead of just like every time there's a problem, oh, here's the solution. Some weird bio-jumble Franken something to fix it. And it's actually not the answer, because you got to get to root cause, and then you've got to build back health, right? You've got to, you nurture health, you fill in the gaps. And that's a transformation system, right? So a transformation process, rather. You got to do the work, day after day after day after day to fill in the deficiency. And if you just cover the deficiency up, it's like this. It's like you have a big hole in the ground, huge, right? Just throw a tarp over it. Throw the tarp over it. Are you going to walk on that tarp? Because that's what you're doing when you cover up the body's signals. It's exactly what you're doing. You still got a hole. And you start walking over that tarp, you're going down. So the tarp may stay there for a little while, right? But eventually it's going to start raining. Water's going to start pooling on it. You got problems because you didn't fill in the hole. That's what we need to be studying. What's the deal with so much infertility? Again, implanting an embryo into a fake uterus, again, it's just like the audacity, right? I'm going to go back to the beginning of the show when the guy was like, yeah, the bees and the birds, when they swarm, they ain't doing it right. Drone swarms are better. I can almost see, I think it was Dastardly, with his little mustache and his top hat and his skinny little legs. And he was always like, here. That's what I feel like pharma is. Here. Step into my room. Yikes. No thanks. Stay tuned, everybody. I'll be back with your health topic. Today we're talking about your prostate. Stay tuned.
Did you know that nearly 70% of Americans struggle with their health every single day? That's why we are reaching out to health professionals and to anyone who simply has a heart for helping people. Right now, there's an opportunity to make a real difference in people's lives. while building a flexible income stream for yourself. Whether you're already working in health, wellness, or just passionate about seeing people thrive, we want to connect with you and introduce you to our system. Together, we can provide real solutions that empower people to take control of their health and create lasting impact. If you've been looking for a way to combine purpose with income, this is it. Visit simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. That's simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. We look forward to working with you.
Welcome back. It's time for your health topic today. Today we're going to be talking about prostate. Yesterday we were talking about hypothalamus. The day before we were talking about menopause. I think, I don't know. Days are running together right now. But anyway, I thought it was time for a little gentleman's time, So today we're talking about the prostate. And many people have this issue as they're told it's because, you're getting older and you've got problems with your prostate. So what causes the problems with prostate? So one of the reasons, these ones are probably well known, and then we're going to go into some other ones that are less known. Okay, so chronic low-grade inflammation. So chronic low-grade inflammation comes from processed foods. It comes from eating industrialized oils like seed oils, too much sugar, low fiber. It fuels systematic inflammation, and the prostate is especially sensitive to inflammatory cytokines, which can lead to congestion, swelling, and cellular changes over time. Number 2, hormonal imbalance. So low testosterone and high estrogen. As men age, testosterone naturally declines, while estrogen often rises due to body fat. It also is on the rise in a lot of men because of environmental estrogens like plastics and chemicals. Also, lack of lifting weights. You need to be lifting weights. Estrogen dominance stimulates prostate cell growth, and that leads to enlargement. So not too much testosterone, too little. Low T plus higher estrogen drives prostate growth. That's the pattern. Sedentary lifestyle. So sitting too long reduces blood flow to the pelvic floor and to the prostate. Poor circulation leads to stagnation, inflammation, and fluid retention. Conditions like BPH and the pattern of this is movement equals circulation, which equals healthier tissue, right? So stagnation, unhealthy. Movement, healthy. Zinc deficiency is also another culprit. The prostate stores the highest concentrate of zinc in the male body. It depends on it. So zinc supports testosterone, immune defense, and cellular stability. And low zinc levels that are common today are linked to enlargement of the prostate and dysfunction. Chronic stress and high cortisol, another factor. Stress suppresses healthy testosterone production. It weakens immunity. It drives inflammation and makes the pelvic floor muscles tense. Exposure to environmental hormone disruptors, things like plastics, BPA, pesticides, fragrances, detergents, conventional dairy, soy additives. Oh my gosh. I'll tell you what, if you have not paid attention to soy, mark it down, and everything you put in your mouth, look on the package, this soy is everywhere. It is everywhere. And you know the conspiracy in me, I'm like, if that's not purposeful to tame the adult population, young adult male population and the male population in general, why do you need soy in everything? It's weird. Anyway, so lack of foundational preventative care. Before I move on, personal care products. that have chemicals in them also mimic estrogen, and that can bind to prostate receptors and influence growth too. So for enlarged prostate. Lack of foundational preventative care. Men historically avoid preventative care until symptoms appear, so they're less likely to supplement and take care of themselves. So things you don't know. Okay, here are some less commonly known contributors to prostate dysfunction, things most men have never heard of, but play a major role in enlarged prostates and prostate dysfunction. Poor lymphatic drainage. Okay, the prostate sits in a lymph-dense region. So if lymph flow is sluggish from inactivity or even dehydration or chronic inflammation, cellular waste and toxins accumulate around that gland, leading to congestion and swelling. So men who sit a lot have worse lymph flow, right? And more prostate issues. Chronic low-grade infections. So some men carry hidden viral, bacterial, and fungal infections in the prostate, especially EBV, Epstein-Barr virus, CMV, mycoplasma, or candida without obvious symptoms. Over time, this creates persistent inflammation and tissue changes. These infections often go undiagnosed because standard urine tests don't detect them. So that's a problem. Pelvic floor dysfunction. A tight clenched pelvic floor restricts blood flow and compresses the prostate, and this can mimic urinary symptoms and worsen enlargement. Men can have prostate symptoms when the actual issue is a tight pelvic floor. So just that lack of mobility, right? From sitting too much and from training, in a way where it doesn't support opening of the hips. When I was in physical therapy, just so many truck drivers and, men that work in that field with super tight hips and super tight hamstrings, of course, because he's super tight hips. So you got to open. I know it feels unnatural or whatever to bend in those ways, but really you got to open the pelvic floor, the hips and whatnot to allow for space. Right? You need space. Congestion, it's the root cause. Estrogen in the environment. So men are now exposed to things like plastics, laundry detergents, plastic undies, those moisture wicking stuff, that's a problem. And even fragrances, pesticides, sunscreen, those are big problems. Also conventionally raised animal products, because these chemicals bind to androgen receptors in the prostate tissue and they stimulate abnormal cell growth. And this is one of the biggest modern drivers of prostate disease today. Another one is poor methylation. So if a man has trouble methylating the MTHFR gene holders, his body cannot properly metabolize estrogen, causing accumulation and growth stimulation in the prostate. So poor methylation equals hormone buildup, and that will equal prostate growth. Sleep apnea. This is a problem. Men with untreated sleep apnea have lower oxygen levels at night. They have a higher inflammation and lower testosterone, conditions strongly linked to prostate enlargement. Dehydration. A dehydrated body concentrates toxins and metabolic waste in the urinary, bladder, and prostate region. And over the years, this irritates tissues and triggers inflammation. Chronic slight dehydration is far more damaging than men realize. You must hydrate with electrolytes to really get water into the cell. Constipation is a problem. The prostate sits right in front of the rectum, and consistently full bowel places pressure on the prostate, reduces circulation, and heightens inflammation. You got to get your fiber. You've got to get your fiber. Also, frequent ejaculation or not enough ejaculation. Both extremes can stress the prostate tissue. So too frequent ejaculation may increase local inflammation, while too little ejaculation reduces clearance of seminal fluid and inflammatory compounds. So balance matters. Neither extreme is ideal. And another one, emotional suppression. So this one sounds surprising, but men with repressed anger, with a chronic stress and shame, they often hold tension in the pelvic nervous system. And over time, that tension affects circulation, hormone signaling, and prostate health. So the prostate is neurologically connected to identity, masculinity, and safety. So there are some contributors that people may not realize. Prostate issues isn't just aging. They're the result of modern lifestyle mismatches, things like environment, nutrition, movement patterns, stress, and physiology. So what can you do about it? Well, today I have put together a prostate package for you. If you're having these issues, consider a daily core regimen for prostate health. Number one, you need a vitalizer, right? So some methylated vitamins. So they include zinc, vitamin D3, B vitamins, antioxidants, all essential for hormone balance and prostate cellular integrity. Our cellular reset is fantastic for inflammation. So you can get this in gel caps, you can get this in liquid, but it is our cellular reset. It helps fight oxidative stress and inflammation at the cellular level, both primary drivers in enlarged prostate and abnormal cell growth. Restores homeostasis in the body. Omega Guard 3s, these are my favorite. They're pharmaceutical grade. They work so good. I can't say enough praises for the omega 3s that we have in our product line. Omega 3s reduce inflammation. They improve circulation and they support healthy hormone production. This helps reduce swelling and supports normal urine flow by improving tissue flexibility. Saw palmetto complex. Saw palmetto helps block excess conversion of testosterone to DHT, a key hormone in prostate enlargement. So it helps maintain normal prostate size and decreases urinary symptoms. Then a zinc complex. So zinc is heavily concentrated in the prostate and regulates testosterone, metabolism, and immune balance. So it benefits by supporting normal prostate tissue structure and hormone signaling. Vitamin D3, of course, you want to make sure everybody needs vitamin D. And CoQ10 also is another one because it supports mitochondrial energy, but cardiovascular health and nitric oxide. That improves pelvic blood flow. Well, that improves blood flow throughout the body, but also specifically will have an impact on your pelvic floor and the blood flow. So better circulation is the key here. So think of it as a pond, When a pond has no circulation in it, what happens? It gets all, muddied up. Gets a lot of pond scum on it, and the water's not so clean. It's not flowing as freely. But if you aerate the pond, right, you put a pump in it, well, that starts getting oxygen through it, and it really starts to clean everything up. That's nitric oxide. Okay, that's what it does for your body. So with a regimen like this, you can support your prostate health. I'm going to have a link on the website for it, and I'll have it marked with probably Men's Health, so it's easy to find for you. But listen, the body whispers before it starts screaming. If you're having signs of enlarged prostate, frequent urination, maybe some dribbling. I think I had a list here actually of some of the symptoms of this that I can tell you about real fast. Yeah, some dribbling, some pain. Yeah. If you have any questions, just text me, 720-303-8868. Thanks so much, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow for Naturally Inspired Radio.
Are you ready to stay informed and inspired 24/7? Tune in to Naturally Inspired Radio anytime, anywhere. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com, or for the best mobile experience, download the Simple Radio app. Search for Naturally Inspired Radio. Save it to your favorites, and click on the graphic to listen instantly. Catch live broadcasts, revisit past shows, dive into long-form podcast conversations, and discover rare, censored presentations by leading health experts. Plus, explore documentaries uncovering the hidden truths of occult and esoteric history. Stay connected, stay inspired. Naturally Inspired Radio is always at your fingertips. Tune in now. For health questions or comments, text Tammy directly at 720-303-8868. naturallyinspiredradio.com.